Mark, we're here at the Whitman Coin Collectibles Expo where NGC has a booth, and you are the chairman of NGC. What type of business does a grading service typically do at a coin show?
Well, we accept submissions from the public. We accept submissions from dealers. At this particular show, we're doing grading on site. I happen to be the senior grader, so I'm upstairs looking at those submissions. We call those walkthroughs. And those are typically better high-value coins that we turn around within 24 to 48 hours.
So, Mark, in the recent years, we've seen a shift from the hobby into specialized labels. You were present at the World's Fair of Money last year when the Gold Kennedy was released. There was a special label for that. At the Fun Show in January, there were a couple labels marking the release of the American Silver Eagle. Last March in Baltimore, there was also the Baseball Hall of Fame coin. How does this trend affect the industry, and how are dealers and collectors responding to the certified coins with the special labels for their release?
There's been a huge demand, and I think it's a collectible. I wouldn't say it's a souvenir, but clearly the marketplace is telling us, and the collectors are telling us, that they like these specialty labels. We make them in limited editions, so the coins that do come out at a fun show, those coins we verify that they've been released at the fun show. We produce a label. It's unique and will have a one-time shelf life, and then those are something that the collecting community loves. They're very, very popular. Those labels translate into an event, and there's been quite a bit of demand for it.
Speaking of labels, it seems like with modern coins in particular that we've seen a sophistication of design of labels. I think this year NGC has introduced a number of new labels for not only the Silver Eagle program, but for world coins, specifically world coin label designs that are geared towards the individual countries. Can you speak about that program and how it's being received?
I think in terms of looking at our holder, for example, it's a vehicle that contains the coin and it contains a special label. So it's applicable to releases from any world mint, or for example, we have introduced the Major League Baseball label, and that's very, very popular. So it can be paired with a Silver Eagle or a Hall of Fame coin. And we have offices now in Zurich, in Hong Kong, and Munich, Shanghai, submission centers. And there's events similar to what's going on in the US. There might be a coin show, or it might be a particular event that's going on, or a signing. So we recently introduced the William Shatner's hand-signed label. Obviously, that's one of the most popular, iconic names in that genre. So we're coupling marketing and licensing with our holders, and we're letting the market to kind of dictate where we go. There's a huge demand for this, and people love it. They know it's authentic. They know it's been verified, and there's a limited amount of these.
Well, this concept is also sort of finding itself in classic numismatics as well.
Right.
For instance, the Eric P. Newman collection has been offered or all graded by NGC, but they also have a novelty label that's specific towards that collection.
Well, I wouldn't call it a novelty label. You have to put the Newman collection in context. It's a once-in-a-lifetime collection. Literally, this gentleman was a scholar from age 18, and he's 103 years old. So he had the foresight to collect the most amazing early American coinage and currency in the world. And we decided to honor his legacy by producing a unique label to the Eric P. Newman Foundation. And all the money, by the way, goes to charity. So yeah, that is in a way honoring. It's a way to distinguish that collection in perpetuity. And also we have a site on our website that disseminates that information and the images, and it's an archive. So We're building this community, we're building this archive of information that collectors can go back and research and look at. And the label certainly is unique. It'll never be used again. I think that enhances the holder. I think it enhances the experience. And it's kind of extends through the product. So it extends through the life of the collection. There's going to be 10 different auctions on numismatics. There'll be some currency auctions. We're doing the numismatic. We've done 5 of those. It's one of the most extraordinary experiences of my career. I've seen unique items. I've seen high quality material that's finest known, early American, and no one can know everything. And so we're constantly learning, and we want to make sure we disseminate that information.
What growth areas do you think your service is looking at as far as where numismatics is heading in the next 5 or 10 years?
I think that I think it's going to be very similar to what the art market has done, and that's a good model that we kind of look at. If you look at historical paintings, for example, in French Impressionism, and you look at contemporary art, modern art, mid-century, post-war, you see the trend, for example, of Warhol, and you see the value of these modern paintings relative to 100 years before, like a Monet, and you see a Warhol's worth much more. Well, somebody who's been in the business for quite some time might say that stuff is just, you know, they might not have the same respect as they would for a Monet, for example, and the Warhol's bringing much more. Well, who are we to say what's worth what? And the people who can relate to it are the people who are buying modern art, are buying modern coins. I've seen proof Franklin halves or Kennedys bring similar amounts to coins that were 100 years prior. So in my value system is I want to buy the seeded half versus the Kennedy or the Franklin. But they all have merit and they're all wonderful items. Look, Booker T. Washington's at one time were modern coins. Roosevelt's are now, you know, or Mercury dimes were modern coins at one time. Now they're very highly collectible. We get in a tremendous amount of Jefferson nickels, Washington quarters, Lincoln cents, late dates. Why people want to build these sets, they can relate to them, they have the funds, that's what they want. Similar to the art market. The art market is driven by people's tastes and desires. They'd rather have a Warhol on their wall, or a Basquiat or a Liechtenstein, rather than a Monet or a Degas. But there's something for everybody. And I think that the modern coin business is driven by a number of factors. One is you have the internet. Coins lend themselves terrific to the internet because of all the data and imaging. The second is the mints, particularly US Mint, has been probably the biggest marketer of coins in the world. Third thing is silver eagles are the most collected coin in the world now. Go figure. So they were made from 1986 in mint state and proof and all variations with reverse proofs, and now you have the burnished coin that was released at the show. So people love that. They love the continuity. That's another component, and the collector mentality is to complete the set. And you can do that with modern coins. They're relatively inexpensive, they're high quality, and the mintages relatively aren't that high. So I think long term, I think there's a great trend towards that, and we're extending that worldwide. So why shouldn't there be a similar dynamic worldwide for modern coins as there are in the US? And we're seeing it across the world. And you can also correlate a country's economic conditions based on our submissions, believe it or not. So if you have the middle class growing, for example, in China, which is a great example, you'll see tremendous amount of coins come in. What are they buying? They love modern coins. They can relate to it. It's hard assets. And that trend, I think, is very healthy, and I think long term it's got a lot of legs.
Well, the two major grading services, it seems to me that NGC has always led the way in world coins. What do you think is the reason for that, and do you see that trend continuing?
In a grading service, you have to have core credibility. We have on staff Ken Craw, who's world-renowned, the best world expert I know of. incredible grader, knows 100 different countries, including the U.S. I consider him a genius. We have on staff Rick Montgomery, top authenticator in the world. What else do we do is we've been strong in world coins. We're the first to grade world coins. We've been in this market for 20 years. So we have built an archive of images and data that goes towards authentication, die markers. We work with the mints to make sure that we know how coins are made, and we work with the museums. Matter of fact, we work with the Smithsonian, and 300 of the best coins from the Smithsonian collection are in our holder, and they have a fantastic world collection. When we went to conserve the national collection, we discovered they had a great Russian collection. So they didn't even know what they had. So we were working to build a archive of that, which translates into a great resource, because when coins come in from collectors and dealers, we can compare and see what is real, what isn't, and build that archive. And we've been doing that for a long, long time. So that translates into credibility. That translates into long-term people feeling comfortable with our product. And then we extend that, and we have to extend that in this day and age with modern counterfeits. We have to extend that into modern coins. So we're doing that, and our reputation has grown. We have no axe to grind. We're completely impartial. We don't buy and sell coins. So I think long-term, people feel really, really good about NGC's World Program.
So NGC falls under the aegis of Certified Collectibles Group.
Yes.
What other areas is the group going into now that collectors might want to know about?
We have 5 companies under the Certified Collectible Group umbrella. Obviously NGC, NCS, which is Numismatic Conservation Services. We have Paper Money Guarantee, and we have Certified Collectibles Group in general, which is a catch-all, and it's comic books. We're the #1 comic book grader in the world. We also do lobby cards, and then the latest innovation is grading concert posters from the 60s and 70s and onward. I think it's a fantastic field with iconic images, important, and it transcends everyone's interest because everybody loves music. I think they're incredibly undervalued. There's not a lot of it out there. People tacked it up on their wall. So what we're doing is we're applying the same set of criteria we do for every collectible. We're applying that with the right experts, and we're grading it, authenticating it, attributing them, and then we're sealing them in a Mylar, very archival material with the label, and then we're developing a frame for these that you can put on your wall, so you can remove the poster and anytime you want, or you can leave it on your wall, protected. So I think we're evolving, taking these wonderful objects and turning them into objects of art, and that they're certified. And it seems to me, I know this for a fact, everything that we certify tends to be embraced by the general public. And then what happens, the values increase. We're the first to grade ancients. Our certified ancient market is exploding throughout the world because people want comfort. They want to feel good about knowing that the coin is authentic, that it's in a tamper-evident holder, that it's recorded and looked at by a third party. So that's what we're doing, extending it through every product line.
Okay, one more modern coin question.
Yeah.
Okay. May 4th, Mint is going to release the 2015 March of Dimes special silver set with the 2 Roosevelt dimes. Does NGC plan to have a special label?
Of course, yeah. We plan to honor that. And last week I saw some March of Dime proofs, and I know in 16 they're coming out with the Roosevelt and the Walker and the Merc. We have to wait to see how they develop, and then we're looking at it. Obviously, we look at all these different products.
Sure. Well, best of luck, Mark, for a successful 2015, and thanks for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you very much.
If you like this video, we're sure you'll love these 3 videos. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. CoinWeek is the #1 source online for all things numismatic. Visit www.coinweek.com to take your hobby to the next level.